In this tutorial, I'm going to quickly talk about the 404 error on WordPress, and I'm Andrew from WordPress, and you can find more WordPress videos in our channel. So you try to access a page, whether it's coming from the link or you just try to type it in the address bar and you get 404. So let's say, for example, I'm just gonna access this URL and WordPress gives me this page, and this is actually a 404 error. So you shouldn't always get the 404 message, but it's actually 404, and you can confirm that by just inspecting and bringing the network tab and just reloading the page. And you can see here the first response was a 404, and then WordPress showed this page, so it was a 404. And the 404 error means that a resource is not found, is not located at that place. So you try to access something and the server checks and sees that, okay, that thing does not exist. So it's basically indicating that this page or this file does not exist. So there are a few causes. So the first thing is that you might be typing the wrong URL. So maybe instead of contact, you are typing contacts or something similar. So, and WordPress does fix such issues, and it just converts it to, for example, contact, and brings the page, but it can be the problem. So you always have to check that you are typing the correct URL. It happens a lot that you have a broken link because it's simply you have erased one letter from that link and it's not working. But if you are sure that your URL is correct, then it might be because of the DNS. And if you have recently changed your domain name or your hosting company, it can happen. But if you haven't done that, it can also be due to the WordPress permalinks structure. So if I bring my admin panel and setting and permalinks, you can see it's using a custom structure, but most of the time you're just going to use post name because it is the most famous structure and it's the best of them. But if you have a problem, you can just change your structure and then come back again to what you have. And actually, I don't want to use custom structure. I don't know why it wasn't custom structure, but say that you have post name or numeric or anything, and then you can just change it and save changes. So for example, I just put it on numeric and then come back to what you had and then save changes. And this can solve the problems lots of the time. So if you are getting 404 for a page that you know exists and you can see that page or that post and you haven't changed your hosting company or anything like that, this really can solve it. And I have seen that a lot with especially custom post type. So you make a custom post type or a plugin makes it for you and you try to access it. You can see the custom post type here, it's in the database, but you cannot access it. And in this case, just changing the setting here and saving changes and then coming back can really solve your problem. But if that doesn't work either, there is one thing that you can do. You can check the htaccess file. So if I just bring my direct admin panel and file manager, and your hosting company might use another panel, maybe it's using cpanel, but it's actually completely the same. And in the public HTML folder, you always have a .htaccess file. If I just open it, you can see this is my htaccess file. It might be the case that your htaccess file is broken. Maybe a plugin has changed it and maybe something has changed it. So you can just use this page, wordpress.org/support/article/htaccess, and this is the basic WordPress htaccess file. So you can always copy it and paste it instead here. And sometimes your htaccess file has something extra and you can just save it, for example, so that you don't lose your extra. So for example, here I have some cache here options for light speed cache. So your caching plugin puts something here, but you can check, you can just save it and use this default htaccess. If that does solve your problem, then you can just look for the plugins and bring that changes that you need, and this plugin will always have an option to edit the htaccess again. And so you can just, for example, remove them and turn them back on. And this is the htaccess, but most of the time that permalink reset will do the job. And finally, I want to talk about a scenario that actually there is no problem. You have modified or removed a resource or a page, and then you're getting this error. And this can be bad sometimes, because let's say I have this page, case studies, and I then have links to pointing to these case studies, and let's say that someday I just change this URL. So I say, okay, I don't want it to be case studies, I just want to be studies, and then update it. Now the page is updated, the URL has changed, and I can use this menu because WordPress is smart enough to change this. But if you have static links in your article, then it doesn't work. So for example, if I just type case studies, guess what? I get a 404 error, and you can just solve this problem, because you don't want your users to not find the page only because you have changed it. And in this case, we have to use a 301 redirection, and I'm just gonna show you how we can use a good plugin for this purpose. So we're just gonna quickly install this redirection plugin. And now I have installed the plugin, and it should be here. It's in the tools and redirection. And in this case, I'm just gonna start setup, and we just wanna monitor permanent changes in WordPress posts and pages. So it will automatically redirect posts or pages. It's super cool, but you can always do it manually. And I don't want to keep a log of 404 errors, so we just continue setup. You just test the REST API, we're good to go. And now I can just type the source URL. So the source URL was actually /case studies. And we're gonna redirect this to just studies, because that would be our new page, and I don't have to just type my full URL here. And now if I just add a redirect, it should work. So if I just bring my website and type case studies, and we get the page. Actually, it's redirecting, so you can see that it's changing the URL. That's super cool, because it's good for SEO, for your SEO, because Google crawlers will be guided to this page, and anyone else, any link will not be broken. So let's say another website is pointing to your website, maybe they are pointing to an article, and that's very important. So you can just do this, and that's all I have seen about and I can say about 404 errors. And thanks for watching, everyone. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And like always, you can reach our team from the link in the caption.